Hello, my name is the Jedi Smurf, and it is my pleasure to bring to you the tutorial on how to play tridimensional chess. I'm pretty much going to be walking through the laws of tridimensional chess verbatim to give you an understanding of how to play, along with the visual representation. So forgive the quality. I wanted to make a video and encode pictures, but I don't have the software to encode pictures into the video. And the one program I did download, it took like way too long to encode pictures. So I'm just going to do it the easy way, actually, I think, by doing these snapshots for you. The laws of tridimensional chess cannot cover all possible situations that may arise during a game, nor can they regulate all administrative questions. Where cases are not precisely regulated by the articles of the law, it should be possible to reach a correct decision by studying situations which are regulated in the laws. The laws assume that the arbiter have the necessary competence, sound judgment, and absolute objectivity. Part 1. The laws of tridimensional chess. Article 1. The nature and objectives of the game of tridimensional chess. 1.1. The game of chess is played between two opponents who move their pieces on a square board called a tridimensional chessboard. The player with the light-colored pieces, the white pieces, makes the first move. Then the players move alternately, with the player with the dark-colored pieces, the black pieces, making the next move. A player is said to have the move when his opponent's move has been made. 1.2. The objective of each player is to place the opponent's king under attack in such a way that the opponent has no legal move. The player who achieves this goal is said to have checkmated the opponent's king and to have won the game. Leaving one's own king under attack, exposing one's own king to attack, and also capturing the opponent's king are not allowed. The opponent whose king has been checkmated has lost the game. 1.3. If the position is such that neither player can possibly checkmate the opponent's king, the game is drawn. See Article 5.2b. Article 2. The initial position of the pieces on the chessboard. 2.1. The tridimensional chessboard is composed of 3 main boards and 4 movable attack boards. 2.1.1. The main board is composed of a 4x4 grid of 16 equal squares, alternating clear, the white squares, and colored, the black squares. 2.1.2. An attack board is composed of a 2x2 grid of 4 squares. 2.1.3. By looking at the tridimensional chessboard from the top, the 3 main boards form one board, 8 squares long and 4 squares wide. The lowermost board is termed white board, represented by a capital W. The middle board is the neutral board, represented by a capital N. And the top board is the black board, represented by a capital B. 2.1.4. The attack boards start the game on the rear pins of the white and black boards and are referred to as queen side and king side, depending on which side of the board they are located. 2.1.5. The chessboard is placed between the players in such a way that the near corner square to the right of the player is white. 2.2. At the beginning of the game, white has 16 light-colored pieces and 2 light-colored attack boards. Black has 16 dark-colored pieces and 2 dark-colored attack boards. 2.2.1. These pieces are as follows. A white king, usually indicated by the symbol K. A white queen, usually indicated by the symbol Q. 2 white rooks, usually indicated by the symbol R. 2 white bishops, usually indicated by the symbol B. 2 white knights, usually indicated by the symbol N. 8 white pawns, loosely indicated by this symbol. 2 white attack boards, loosely indicated by the symbol capital X. A black king, loosely indicated by the symbol K. A black queen, loosely indicated by the symbol Q. 2 black rooks, loosely indicated by the symbol R. 2 black bishops, loosely indicated by the symbol B. 2 black knights, loosely indicated by the symbol N. And 8 black pawns, loosely indicated by this symbol. 2 black attack boards, loosely indicated by this symbol and a capital X. 2.2.2. The Staten chess set and any variation shall be the official tridimensional chess set. 2.3. The initial position of the pieces of the chessboard is as follows. 2.4. The 6 vertical columns of squares are called files. The 10 horizontal rows of squares are called ranks. A straight line of squares of the same color running from one edge of the board to the adjacent edge is called a diagonal. Article 3, the moves of the pieces. 3.1. Any move which can be made in classical chess, the flat 8x8 board that the world has come accustomed to, can be made in tridimensional chess. Since every overlapping square is the same color, you may now have the option of deciding which board you may rest your piece on. And because of this option, 2 pieces or more may occupy the same square, file, and rank as long as they are on different boards. 3.1.A. A piece on any individual square blocks the ability of other pieces to move on all boards. But the moving piece may rest above or below, implying there is a board above or below said piece, the occupied square, and continue its move on the next turn. 3.1.B. It is not permitted to move a piece to a square occupied by a piece of the same color. If a piece moves to a square occupied by an opponent's piece, the latter is captured and removed from the chessboard as part of the same move. A piece is said to attack an opponent's piece if the piece could make a capture on that square according to Article 3.2 to 3.8. 3.2. The bishop. The bishop may move to any square along a diagonal on which it stands. Three point three. The rook. The rook may move to any square along the file or the rank on which it stands. Three point four. The queen. The queen may move to any square along the file, the rank, or the diagonal on which it stands. 3.5. When making these moves, the bishop, rook, or queen may not move over any intervening piece. See Article 3.1.a. 3.6. The knight. The knight may move to one of the squares nearest to that on which it stands, but not on the same rank, file, or diagonal. 3.7. The pawn. 3.7a. The pawn may move forward to the square immediately in front of it on the same file, provided that this square is unoccupied. 3.7.b. On its first move, the pawn may move as in 3.7.a, or alternatively, it may advance two squares along the same file, provided that both squares are unoccupied. 3.7.c. The pawn may move to a square occupied by the opponent's piece diagonally in front of it on an adjacent file, capturing that piece. 3.7.d. A pawn occupying a square on the same rank as and on an adjacent file to an opponent's pawn, which has just advanced two squares in one move from its original square, may capture this opponent's pawn as though the latter had been moved only one square. This capture is only legal on the move following this advance and is called en passant capture. 3.7.e. When a player having the move plays a pawn to the rank furthest from the starting position, he must exchange that pawn as part of the same move for a new queen, rook, bishop, or knight of the same color on the intended square of arrival. This is called the square of promotion. The player's choice is not restricted to pieces that have been captured previously. This exchange of a pawn for another piece is called promotion, and the effect of the new piece is immediate. 3.7.e.1. Which rank is considered furthest depends on the specific situation during the game. For files B and C, rank 1 or 8 would be considered furthest. For files Z and E, rank 0 and 9 would always be the furthest. For files A and D, the furthest rank varies depending on whether an attack board overhanging the corner is present. If present, the furthest rank is 0 or 9. If not, the furthest rank is 1 or 8. 3.7.e.2. A special situation comes up if a white pawn is located on A8 black or D8 black, or a black pawn on A1 white or D1 white, is not promoted because an attack board is overhanging the corner. If the attack board leaves that corner, then the pawn is promoted during the move of the attack board. This implies that such an attack board move is prevented temporarily if this move would place the king of its own color under attack. 3.8. The king. There are two different ways of moving the king. 3.8.a. By moving to an adjacent square. 3.8.B. By castling. This is a move of the king and either rook of the same color along the player's first rank, counting as a single move of the king and executed as follows. 3.8.B.1. To castle on the king's side, the king exchanges its place with the rook. 3.8.B.2. To castle on the queen's side, the king is transferred from its original square to the square beside the rook. Then the rook is transferred to the square the king has just vacated. 3.8.B.3. The right to castle has been lost on the very first move. Move 1 cannot be castle. If the king has already moved, or with a rook that has already been moved. 3.8.B.4. Castling is prevented temporarily if the square on which the king stands, or the square which is to occupy, is attacked by one or more of the opponent's pieces. 3.9. Check. The king is said to be in check if it is attacked by one or more of the opponent's pieces, even if such pieces are constricted from moving to the square occupied by the king, because they would then leave or place their own king in check. No piece can be moved that will either expose the king of the same color to check or leave that king in check. 3.10. Attack boards. An attack board can only be moved if it is unoccupied or if it holds no more than one piece. Attack boards are controlled by the player whose piece is located on it. Empty attack boards are the property of the original owner. The movement of an attack board is similar to the move of a rook. The distance is any adjacent pin. Adjacent means the next pin of the same or the next main board. Pins 1 and 6 have 3 adjacent pins. Pins 3 and 4 have 4 adjacent pins. Pins 2 and 5 have 5 adjacent pins, as shown in this diagram. Also, only empty attack boards may be moved to an inverted pin position. Please take note of the text being highlighted by the red arrows. This is why in this club we have the tri-directive rules. Let it be clear that inverting means to flip an attack board upside down. For when you allow attack boards to be inverted in this way, you do indeed have 24 pin positions available. 3.10.1.A. Tri-directive number 1. Attack boards containing only one piece or less may move to any adjacent pin. (3.10.1.B) Tri-directive number 2. Attack boards that contain only a pawn can only move to an adjacent pin that is in a forward or lateral direction. In other words, pawns can never move backwards, ever. 3.10.1.C Tri-directive number 3. Only an unoccupied attack board may be inverted, flipped upside down to hang from the board as opposed to standing on the board. 3.11 Legal, illegal move. A move is legal when all the relevant requirements of Article 3.1 through 3.10 have been fulfilled. A move is illegal when it fails to meet the relevant requirements of Articles 3.1 through 3.10. A position is illegal when it cannot have been reached by any series of legal moves. Well, those are the laws of tridimensional chess. For a complete readout of this document, please visit my group on Facebook, Amateur Tridimensional Chess League. The link is provided below. Thank you for your interest in tridimensional chess.